Liam Paro is fighting against Richardson Hitchins for his first IBF title defense on December 7th, 2024 on DAZN, and the fight won't go as you may think. Let's talk about it. Liam Paro is an undefeated boxer who's 25-0 with 15 knockouts under his belt. Now he's fighting against Richardson Hitchins, whom a lot of people want to lose. Hitchens is more of an overconfident boxer who talks a lot of trash and doesn't really deliver in the ring. With 18 wins under his belt, he's only gotten 7 knockouts. If you thought Shakur Stevenson is boring, I'd recommend staying away from Hitchens. Now these two have been going back and forth and the buildup has honestly been entertaining. Paro is obviously coming off of an unanimous decision win against former IBF champion Subriel Matias. On the other side, Hitchens is coming off of a more controversial and close decision win against Gustavo Lemos. If Lemos sounds familiar to you, it may be because Keyshawn Davis just knocked him out in the second round a few weeks ago. Yeah, Richardson Hitchins isn't the most fan-friendly boxer to see, but he is a pretty bad matchup for Liam Paro. Now you may be thinking this means that Hitchens has a clear-cut victory against Paro. However, that couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion at least. Hitchens had rejected fighting against the former champ Subriel Matias when he was a higher ranked contender than Liam Paro, with some suggesting that it was because of Matias's insane volume and punching power. He would state that he wasn't ready, and as such, Paro would be the one to take on Matias for the champion's homecoming fight. Paro would win the fight convincingly, ending Matias's knockout streak when Matias was known for knocking out every opponent he had fought, boasting a 20-win, 20 knockout record with 1 defeat, which he'd avenged by knocking the same opponent who beat him out. Paro used his fighting IQ to win, never really staying in the pocket and brawling with Matias and not letting him get into his groove. After the victory for Paro, no one really knew what was next for him. Hearn was trying to get a fight for him and Haney to happen, but that never came to fruition, and some people thought he'd be fighting Matias in a rematch in Puerto Rico. Nothing was ever confirmed until October 3rd, 2024, when it'd be announced that Liam Paro would face off against Richardson Hitchins for the IBF title defense. The two have been going back and forth since then and have had a couple of face-offs. I don't think that Hitchens will be an easy fight for Paro, given his reach, technical prowess, and willingness to survive. It should also be said that just like Paro, Hitchens knows when not to exchange, as seen in his fight with Gustavo, where we'd see him clinch Lemos every time he got hit clean. Not to say that it will make Hitchens win would be a mistake, since I believe that Paro is way more active in the clinch and won't just be holding, and instead even try to prevent Hitchens from holding him. I don't think there's any power to ward Paro off as there was with Matias, so I think this fight may just come off with Paro doing enough to earn himself a decision victory or a late stoppage. As they say, you're only as good as your last performance, and while I don't agree with that, if you look at their last performances, Liam Paro had the better night, as well as Matias being a better fighter than Lemos. I do see Hitchens putting on a good fight in the early rounds, but later getting hurt and possibly stopped. Paro has some pretty underrated power, as we saw with Montana Love, Brock Jarvis, and I think Hitchens might be overestimating himself, but as we all know, in boxing, anything can happen, and Hitchens may very well get the decision win. I don't really see Hitchens stopping him because he just really lacks a lot of power, but if a clean shot lands, who knows what happens. Now, a lot of people want Hitchens to lose, and you may ask, why? Well, as I said earlier, he talks a lot and doesn't really back it up in the ring. Not only that, but he does tend to be hypocritical, as seen on his recent face-to-face with Paro, where he'd call him out for holding too much in the fight, where if you look at round 8 in his fight with Gustavo Lemos, it's Hitchens grabbing onto Lemos anytime he got hit after being rocked, which is, kind of funny. He'd go on to say Paro can't take a hit to the chin due to being dropped once, as well as saying he wouldn't be able to take one of his punches, which, when looking back at those 7 knockouts, it's honestly laughable. I do understand that anything can happen in boxing, but to say that is really mind-boggling to me. He would make some good points about Paro hitting behind the head, as he does tend to do that, but only when clinching really. So maybe Hitchens should be worried about that. Hitchens also doesn't have the cleanest record, holding on to Lemos so much you were honestly surprised he didn't get warned for excessive holding or even a point deducted. He'd also hit behind the head a couple of times. So like I said, he is very hypocritical. People want Hitchens to lose so that he finally gets the humbling people think he needs, as well as because he is a boring fighter and a lot of people don't want him to be the champion because like he's just not really entertaining. But this is also going to be one of the better tests we will see be put on Liam Paro, so it'll be interesting to see how he does with a fighter like Hitchens. Regardless, we will get to see which one of these two will emerge victorious when they face off on the night in December 7th, 2024 in Puerto Rico. However, these were just my thoughts. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this fight, so I thought I'd talk about it because I honestly really liked Liam Paro as a boxer. And I didn't know he was going to be fighting until now, so I thought I'd make a video on it. So yeah, I'm sorry if I showed a little bit of bias to Liam Paro. That's honestly my bad. You know, like I said, I'm not the perfect boxing fan. But who's going to win, as well as what's next for these fighters? Will we see a Matias versus Paro 2, or do we see a Matias versus Hitchens? Or does Devin Haney come back and step up to unify against these two? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see y'all later. Peace.